welcome to your new Bonner Private Wines video. Today we're continuing our exploration of the best wine types in the world to give you some more essential wine knowledge that will allow you to navigate the wine aisles of your local wine shop with great ease. So let's go on with one of my personal favorites, and I'm sure many of you love it too. We're gonna be talking about Pinot Noir. So let's dig in and learn a little more about this grape of French origins. Let's go. My fellow wine-loving friends, Julian here. Before we get started with the video, there is something that you have to know about. This video was made possible by the Bonner Private Wine Partnership, and the reason I work with them is not just because it's been called the most unique wine club in America, but because they truly love the wines that they choose for you. Founded by Will Bonner, the partnership is a small group of wine lovers who have come together to import excellent small batch wines that might otherwise get completely overlooked by large importers. They get them. Right now you can get your hands on 3 rare extreme altitude red wines from Argentina, from some of the purest, highest vineyards in the entire world, way up in the Andes Mountains. No middlemen, no additive packed supermarket wines here, no inflated costs. Plus you'll get exclusive access to more wine education videos from me, just like the one you're about to watch, to make sure you become an educated wine connoisseur. So make sure to check out the link in the video description to see if you want to become partner in something truly special in the world of wine. But for now, back to your video. With such a French-sounding name, Pinot Noir, I'm sure you've guessed that we're talking here about a grape coming from where I live, France. Yes, that's correct. By the way, a couple of details before we dig deeper, just to make sure you are confident with the way you say Pinot Noir. How do you say Pinot Noir correctly? Well, in French we say Pinot Noir, but it's fine in English or American obviously to say just simply Pinot Noir, as long as you do not pronounce the T at the end of Pinot, so do not say Pinot Noir for sure. Then yes, Pinot Noir is the type of grape that the wine is made from. And this type of grape came from France, where it was selected, refined, perfected in the Burgundy wine region of France. You have to know and remember that Burgundy is a rather cold area, one of the coldest wine regions in France in fact, almost as cold as Champagne, where yes, Pinot Noir is grown as well. But we'll get back to this in a minute when we talk about where the best wines from Pinot Noir are made all around the world. Pinot Noir, you have to remember, grows under those relatively cool climates, unlike Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, that like warmer weather for those grapes. So in Burgundy, it was the Benedictine monks who perfected the grape. They were religious people and they used the wine for their rituals, and they absolutely adored Pinot Noir. We're talking of the origin of Pinot Noir somewhere roughly around the year 1000 AC, deep into the Middle Ages. So we're talking here about one of the most ancient type of wine grapes that is still in use today. Cabernet Sauvignon, as a comparison, didn't came about until the 17th century or so. Back then, the monks went to a great lengths to find the absolute best vineyard sites in Burgundy, the Grand Crus and Premier Crus, and that's because for centuries Pinot Noir was served to the kings of France or even the Pope when he was in France in Avignon. So Pinot Noir is an ancient and very noble grape, but what does it actually taste like, you may be wondering. Well, let's dig into it. So because Pinot Noir grows in cool climates, as we mentioned before, the grape doesn't get overly rich or heavy, and the wines don't either. The alcohol level of Pinot Noirs are generally lower than for bigger wines like the Cabernets or the Zinfandel. Pinots have less tannins as well and a bit less body. They are lighter in style, more vibrant as well, more acidic, just a little more, say, aerial than most other wines, which is also why it's much more, or it's very appreciated by many. Now, the typical flavors and aromas of Pinot Noir are in the spectrum of acidic red berry fruits. Clearly the term that everyone uses for Pinot, which is the one that you should remember if there is one takeaway from this video. This term is griotte, or it's fine to just say it is the French term for saying sour cherry. Virtually all Pinots have this griotte or sour cherry character, so keep it in mind if you want to impress your friends next time you are having your next Pinot Noir wine. But you'll find some other red berries, obviously, like fresh strawberry or raspberry, blueberries or red currant. Often you'll also find hints of floral aromas like rose petal and violet, and some spices and herbs like white pepper, juniper, peppermint. Finally, as Pinot Noir ages and evolves in time in your cellar, just like this 99 Grand Cru Clos de Vougeot, where Pinot Noir takes on some savory notes, earthy characters of truffle, or what we love to call forest floor. So when you taste an old Pinot Noir wine, you're not only taking your imagination through the fields of delicate red berries, but also through a foggy and wet forest in a cold morning. It can really be absolutely a splendid experience, because yes, Pinot Noir wines, the good ones at least, can age superbly well for decades and decades sometimes. But then, where do you find the best Pinot Noir wines around the world? Well, let's go and have a look exactly into this. Why do I mention Sideways? Well, Sideways is probably the most popular wine-focused movie of all times. If you haven't watched it yet, well, take a look at it, as it is pretty fun. It features two friends who take a road trip through the Santa Ynez Valley of California. Miles is a Pinot enthusiast, and he slowly converts his friend Jack, who was more of a Merlot lover, and he teaches him to love the lighter Pinot Noir styles. The movie came out in 2005, and many credit it for boosting the popularity of Pinot Noir around the world, and also the decline of Merlot in the US in particular. Even though I personally worked at a winery in California back in 2002, Chateau Saint-Jean, and back then they had already seen the trend coming of Pinot Noir growing, and that was before the movie. So anyhow, before the early 2000s, let's say, there wasn't at all much Pinot Noir wine that was produced around the world outside of Burgundy. A little bit around Burgundy in Europe, like in Alsace, in Germany, Switzerland or Italy, those close by areas, but not a lot. Since though the grape has gone completely mainstream, almost viral in the world of wine, it could be said, as it's produced virtually everywhere it's suitable to do so. In Burgundy, the best Pinot Noirs come from what is called the Côte d'Or area around the city of Beaune. Beautiful city, by the way. There you'll find the names of prestigious wine villages that are synonymous with the best and most expensive Pinot Noirs in the world, like Vosne-Romanée, Pommard, Gevrey-Chambertin or Chambolle-Musigny. Now, you have to know that Grand Cru Pinot Noir from Burgundy are some of the rarest, the most demanded, the most expensive wines in the world as well, with prices easily reaching north of $1,000 a bottle, yes. Outside of Burgundy, you'll have to go in cooler parts of California to find good Pinot Noir wines, like some parts of the Sonoma County, the Russian River Valley or the Sonoma coast, but also the Central Coast, like Santa Barbara or Santa Ynez Valley, for example. Places like Napa Valley or Central Coast or Central Valley of California are just a little too warm for this. Then in Oregon, in Washington State, yes, you will find some delicious, fine Pinot Noirs that I do definitely recommend you investigate and dig into if you want to go a little bit deeper. Now, you will have fantastic Pinot Noir wines in New Zealand, and I live there, I can tell you so. Go for the Central Otago or Martinborough ones more than the Marlborough ones if you can. And finally, some very interesting Pinot Noirs come out of the southern end of the South American continent, I should say, America as a continent, and that's on both sides of the continent, on the very end in Patagonia, on the Chilean side and Argentine side. Now, of course, I mentioned it before, Pinot Noir is excellent and is fantastic for making or into the blend of champagne wines. Now, if you are wondering about which wine glass and why I do have two separate glasses of wine glasses for tasting Pinot Noir, if you are tasting a, let's say, more affordable, fruitier, young style of Pinot Noir wine, any wine tasting glass, just a Bordeaux style, this is called the Bordeaux shape of wine glass. This will go well with fruity, approachable, young Pinot Noir wine. If you are tasting a bigger, richer, more expensive, more powerful, more concentrated and older type of Pinot Noir wine, well, go for that Burgundy shape. Yes, this is a shape, a big bowl, a type of wine glass that is called a Burgundy shape type of wine glass, and you know, that's for tasting Pinot Noir wines, but the big ones, the old ones preferably. And I'll leave it here for today. I hope we've covered everything that you should know about Pinot Noir wine, and I will see you soon in the wonderful world of wine. Au revoir, bye bye, cheers.